All right, so we have nutritionist Swanson here with us to talk about some important steps to live your life pain-free.
Yes.
What exactly does that mean, and how can people take those steps?
Yes, so inflammation impacts so much of our health, and oftentimes when we think of inflammation, we think of pain.
Yeah.
And so it's really important to do everything you can so that you don't have that pain and can feel your best. So one of the steps that you can do is take turmeric. So turmeric is one of the #1 anti-inflammatory foods that you can take. It's actually, research has shown that it's more impactful than over-the-counter medications.
Got it. And what are some of the causes maybe that can cause pain?
Yeah, so it really is an inflammatory response, and a lot of it has to come down to your lifestyle.
Okay.
So what are you, are you moving? What's your nutrition like? The next step that I was going to talk about is water. So are you drinking enough water? Some of these steps might seem super simple, but that's the point. We've overcomplicated our health, and we need to get back to the basics, and water is one of those things that you want to make sure that you're drinking enough of.
Yeah, I know, like you said, it's the basics. It sounds so simple, but sometimes you forget.
Yeah.
How important is it to have a good balance of the movement and exercise plus the diet?
Yeah, they go hand in hand, but if you are going to focus on one thing, if you're like, okay, where do I start? It would be the nutrition, because that's going to make more of an impact. But we do sit a lot more, these days, so it is important to, especially now that it's getting nicer out. We've been talking about the weather, to get outside and even just walk, get some movement in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are some maybe signs that you can spot if you are starting to experience some of that inflammatory issues?
Yeah. So as far as like symptoms of that would be pain, if you have any swelling, unable to lose weight, digestive issues, those are all signs and symptoms that you have inflammation going on in your body.
So you mentioned turmeric. Any other foods or things that you can incorporate in your diet to help with that?
Yeah, so a lot of fiber-rich foods are going to be really important. So fruits and vegetables, right? The things that we know but we're not doing. So we got to implement it, and take action and do that. And then another third step is mindset, making sure that you are willing to change. And knowing that the change is going to lead to a life of living pain-free.
Yeah. And for those watching who want to take that step, but they're unsure how, what can you say to them to encourage them to take that first step?
Yeah, I would start with water and start with some of the movement, start with the simple things. Don't look at all the things that you need to change. Just start with one or two.
Yeah, I feel like that sometimes is intimidating to people when it comes to this conversation, because it sometimes is like all or nothing.
Oh, yes. Yeah, and it doesn't have to be that way, because that's when you get overwhelmed. And then you stop and you don't see change. So start with one or two things.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, for anybody who wants any more information about the work that you do, other things you cover, how can they get in touch with you?
Yeah, so I help women overcome their inflammation so they can live pain-free. So on my website, lifewelllive.fitness, or on Instagram @Swanson. And message me if you have any questions.
Awesome. So there you go. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out and get all of that information. Thank you for joining us, Kara.
Yeah, thanks for having me.